Thank you very much. Born here in Old Greenpoint, as you go to the airport. Yeah, I'm born there, grew up there, and we were then removed out of Old Greenpoint because we're all mixed, colored, Indian, and Chinese. We're then taken to Ver Genoeg. That's where I landed and grew up there, and fortunately I ended up schooling at that point. It started just after the 1976 situation, and we were already aware of what is taking place in South Africa. When I was there, we realized that things are not normal the way we're in the church, protected as a Catholic church. We then had to be informed that Robert Sobukwe is around the corner, banished in Kimberley, if you remember, and a number of the older boys always went to him, and they even left the country. And that's how we came to know and be aware of the political situation of South Africa. I was very fortunate because when we finished matric as in Boniface, I ended up, could not go to university. I wasted 1 year, but I had to go and work at the BS, as you know. Jobs were only available at the mines, and they took me to Finch Mine. But within 4 months we all got dismissed because there was a strike. And that's how the following year I went to. And I chose Fort Hare because having read the history, that's where I wanted to be that day. You must understand, we're driving all over the province, in areas we don't know, in rural areas we don't know, and people are looking at you like this. Who is this one? We don't know him. On that day, I had to be in Kimberley because I knew the numbers around Halishiwe. I knew the numbers around this side going to Warrington. We need, these are the bulk of the ANC captured votes. They will vote for the ANC. I walked from the house of my mother, I was staying there, and a number of street comrades joined me. We're going to Mankuruan. If you remember Farhanu very well, Mankuruan is at the back. So walking all in the morning, the people all joined me, we're all singing. We are going to vote and so on. And when I arrived there, people wake up at 4 o'clock. It was too much, the line was long. And only to find, as I'm coming in, at the back, my mother saw me, and the television people were coming, and the security said, I must go forward to go and get to be respected as a premier-elect to go and vote. My mother called me with my name. I said, wait. He said, Manne Dipico. When I arrived, he said, you join the line like all other people. I say, I'm not asking you go and join at the back. You only arrived now. These people, I had to be standing in that line, very, very hot, joining until my time came. And that, I thought my mother did very well. And security were pushed aside. I said, when my mother speaks, you don't overrule her. I stayed there, and fortunately, I stayed with my mother for the next coming 5 years as the premier. We do not have houses of government. I had to stay with her. And as a premier, she was the one having the last word. I'm not married. There's no girlfriend who's coming here. And that's it. What a wonderful thing. You'll eat the food I cook. So there was no sophistication. The people of the street, no police would stand at our gate. There was no way to have bodyguards there. People who work with me during the day come and drop me off, and they have to leave. Have to leave. The security was always the people of the street. They would always protect me. That's how confident we were. And just to be collected in the morning as a premier to go anywhere else and come to be dropped there. Was a wonderful feeling. I still feel that was great. And when I have to go to any event, national, any part, even here in Kimberley, big events as a premier, I have to have a partner. Who's there? Who's my partner? My mother. all the time. To the extent when I arrived national, Madiba's invited us, all the ministers is here. Minister Nkosazana will say, last born, no man, mama. You can't do this to your mom. We can't get somebody to, we know you can't propose. We can get the two girls to be with you. Thinking that I'm getting somewhere, I was thrown out. Getting back, I had to join the youth of Khalishiwe. That's where I had a lot of energy. Joined Gayo as a youth and be a leader there. Participate in the UDF structures in all sorts, because all these structures were part of the UDF, and I had to sit in the UDF structure in the Northern Cape with the Freiburg team, and that's where the real start. And as I was there, I was then recruited by Ramaphosa, sent somebody to come and talk to me. I was taken to Joburg. Cyril Ramaphosa, the same president, was sitting across the door in his office. Elijah Bahai and James Mutlatsi, they interviewed for 15 minutes. They said, you've got a job, but we want you to go back to the Northern Cape. Go and organize all the mines. We don't have these mines under the belt of NUM, and we want them in. And here are the targets. Want to reach 2,000 per month. Yeah. Where do I start? 2,000 per month. I had to extend myself, go back to the network, how best, back to the youth, back to the people I know very well, students, and I had to take them through education. What is a trade union? What does it do? How do we uplift our mothers and fathers? How do we ensure that they get a fair share wherever they work, and increase their lot, bargain for them? And I said, all of you, 10 forms. We enter the DBS hostel, we enter Ipopeng, and we get into the buses. That's how we actually, within no time, everybody had to work towards that target. And it was so. When I arrived at the office in Johannesburg again, they saw me with these piles. They said, you exceeded your target multiple times. How did you get it right? It's now that the leadership realized they've got some star here for themselves. Having organized the youth, having organized the workers, the only time that the state apparatus realized that they've got an enemy in real time. They have already identified me, that all this is taking place because the students were upheaval, as you know, in Khalishiwe. They closed down all schools, 1980, again 1985. That's what happened. That's when the real thing happened, because at that time, when they hit the state of emergency, we all collected, including myself, thrown out with the young chaps. But we used that period in prison with all they had to be 15-year, 14-year boys, and so on. We used that with Father Maropong them and so on to conscientize the young ones, to make create a new layer of leadership for them. If we don't come out here, those who go out should be able to continue to cause havoc, to make the country ungovernable. That's how I spent the time of detention. They released me again in 1985, and with conditions, house arrest. But typical us, we defied that. Sooner or later, I was in Joburg, and we're out of the country. We had to go to Moscow, we had to go to UK, we had to go to Sweden, and that's where the ANC prepared us what needs to be done, because we briefed them about the situation at home, and they gave us the direction, what needs to be done. Arriving back here, within no time, there were chaps who were with us, but they were in Zim. They came with us because I went through the pretext of the union there was a international conference of the Union in Sweden. When I came back, when they got arrested, their interview, they told the police of South Africa that Manne Dipico was that side. No, Manne Dipico could not have left the country. He's in the country. That's where it happened. They came for me. I'd done nothing, but they wanted to know what was happening in Moscow. Who is it? Who are the people? And so on. I said, I don't know. As we're doing, Madiba has chosen his people. And by that time, when the province, I was number 1 in the list, and for him, in the provincial list, for him was, this is the chap to be the premier-elect. And again, the positive thing is that I was the chairman of the ANC in the province. But you must understand, when they drew the borders of 94 for provinces, born in Kimberley, we were only here in Kimberley. We had to take up places like Namakwaland. We never around in this jurisdiction, going down to DR, Colesberg. They were in the Eastern Cape. Namakwaland was reporting to Cape Town, and so on. And the demographic were very, very difficult. Here, the African side, the colored side, Uppington, and so on. And we had to bring it together. Very, very difficult. The good thing when Madiba was moving around, even when we had to go to Namibia, you always carry me, because he tells, even when he meet Afrikaners, he says, I'm here with Manne. Manne speaks clean Afrikaans, flot Afrikaans. So I'm going to greet you, but Manne will speak. So I had to speak in Afrikaans and greet the people and so on. Very tough times, because at that time, I was sitting the NEC of the ANC and sitting also in the central committee of the party. So communism was the rooi gevaar. And when we're campaigning, Afrikaners and all sorts of could get into the colored community, said, yo, communism, he's going to bring communism, the rooi premier. And which was very tough, but we entered all these areas to campaign. We had to even bring Dr. Busak, who was really an orator from Cape Town and so on. Used a lot of priests, tough in that campaign. That's why you look at those results, we could not make 50 plus. That's true. No, we had the highest. They were at about 47, 48, but we could not jump. So what does that mean? It means that no one can govern. It's a hang polite. But the typical coming from the union again, having gained experience of compromise and engaging, I left the National Party. I went straight to the Freedom Front. I spoke when I entered that meeting. They agreed, 2 professors, Professor Boshoff, Professor Henning. As I entered in Kimberley, and he said, we can't start the meeting. This meeting, you have to agree, it will be conducted in Afrikaans. I said, no problem. This meeting will start with a prayer and will be confined to the word of God. I said, no problem. They then changed. He said, you pray for us. Oh, dear me. Simbona fasting came. I left in the church for such a long time. I had to pray all the time in prison. God opened these doors and could not open. But I prayed, and the first time they hear me speaking Afrikaans in a very good way. And we do not get into substantive issues. They even said, we've got a deal with me. And that means we've got already more than 50% with them. They had only 2 seats in it. And therefore, that's how we took over. For nothing else, a politeness, showing respect for their culture, showing respect for their religion, showing respect, only a simple thing, language. And they accepted my bona fides. They said, we'll go a long way with you. You are what you are. And that built us to be able even to include them in our executive, in our cabinet. One of them had to join to say, I will get you one of you to join us, and to be able to make it. You are older, you are in your 60s, I need wisdom. I'm too small. I'm in my 34, 35. Oh, just leave me alone. That's how it is. We're very simple. Yeah, great. Cde Manne Dipico was great because in his world where he was respected, he looked at, we had no script to read how to govern. He did not know he come from prison, I come from prison. All the people surround me, the poor hour, we all are together. We know nothing, and so on. And now best, we know the Freedom Charter. There's an interim constitution in front of us. But what is it we are going to do? We know we are going to be servants of the people. We know what needs to be done. Turn this new South Africa into a democratic, unitary, non-racial, non-sexist, prosperous South Africa. But what are the steps, building blocks for that? That's how Madiba chose the premiers and said, you go out. Others went to Germany, Matthew Posa them and Tokyo them. We went to Canada, me and Nwako Ramatlhodi them. And I had to work in the premier's office to see what he does every day for a month. That was before even we were taking over office, preparing us to say, you should be able to do the work. We are going to win, so go and prepare yourselves. Popo Molefe and all of us. We were all there, and that's how I worked in, shadowing the premier there in New Brunswick in Canada. That was an opener, and we could see a lot of things. When we came back, no one could stop me. I know what needs to be done. The new province was a daunting challenge, to be honest for you. One, there was no province. Other people in other provinces had an administration, the Transvaal administration. The Free State was an administration as a province. So there was already administration people. We were under the Cape province. We were reporting to Cape Town before 94, 27 April. When I got into the office, first day, second day, I said, what's trying to check? I was taken to the municipality office. There's no province here, there's nothing. Taken to municipality office, find an office here. Sure. I said, yeah, who buys the toilet roll? Where do we? Said, put a requisition. And he had to be sent to Cape Town. We fax it to Cape Town. Teaspoons, we don't have. Fax it to Cape Town. They will be able to pay for that. Now you must understand. You have been elected, we've been sworn in, you are told you must go through another premier of the National Party. That made me, I became myself. And I said, Madiba, we found this announcement, only to find Eastern Cape was going through that same nonsense. They were not a province. They were also under the Cape jurisdiction. So there was a DG sitting in Cape Town. We have to ask everything for buying coffee or so. We had to go through it. It was very difficult. It's a struggle. We told us at Cde team, this is a struggle. We are going to fight and win. That's why I said to people, to build an administration, not a simple. We had to start with my office. It's not there, it's not existing. We have to start to employ one person. We had to get Cape Town to authorize. So, damn it. Legislature, we have to put it up. We succeeded. Put up this legislature, elect the people. Here we are moving. Let's change the laws of the province. Let's create new laws fitting this democratic order, fitting in the whole aspect of the interim constitution, repeal the old laws. Had to surround ourselves. Where do we get the staff? I had to travel to Western Cape University, go to Peninsula University, go to Northwest University, and go and address them, all children of the Northern Cape who were born in the Northern, who are here, and call on all those you know, and address them with those, we want to back home. We are ready, want to fight with us, and a number of them came. Competent, others were working already in a number of jobs, high positions. They said, Tumamina, we are ready to come. And that's how we started slowly. A lot of them were very, very wise men and women. and we could actually start changing what was the intention of the Constitution, how to build those blocks. So we started to build departments by departments. And as we are building them, we had to hit the ground running, get the right people, change the schools, open the schools to be the centers of learning, make all children. Kuruman took us to court, did not want black children to come into that school. I went there, said, I'm not leaving. Then they went to court. We got all the lawyers who got to win those cases and get the children into all these schools around Kimberley, around anywhere else, which was a very difficult. We had to get into the hospitals. There's a door for the black people, there's a door for the white people. No, it's not going to happen. All these hospitals are under me. Do you know that? They don't think things have changed. They do not change. Trains are still operating. This is this class for the blacks, this is this class. Cemeteries are not changing. Bury these ones, you can't bring them to West End Cemetery. No. Open the cemetery. Amatamos alala. You will all sleep here. Those were the difficult times. And you had to confront those things, not only in law, and some of our people are dead afraid to challenge these things. In the rural areas, a white man is a white man who has given them the jobs. They can't say yeah or what. So I'm giving you the magnitude of the problem we had to contend with at that time. But I can tell you, we had such resilient, fighting, competent people under my MECs and so on. And what we did, which is very, very important, was to create a cabinet, which cabinet doesn't sit only in Kimberley. Every second week, we're in a different town. We said cabinet meets the people. And that's how all of us, we start in the morning, we speak to the farmers, we speak to the religious people, we go out and speak all organizations and talk to them, and business people. All these are different forums, and in the evening we have a meeting of the people. We have captured every small issues and went into the houses of people and got the municipalities to be built around that to say, what are the wrong things, what needs to be done? And that changed the people. That's why I can show you, out of the less than 50% we had, when I had to live in 10 years' time, we were at literally nearly 70%. Grew it because this brought the people to participate. Because I understood one thing, the Freedom Charter, which was always close to my heart: the people shall govern. How to give expression? Sit with my team. How do we give expression to the people of govern? We get clever people who sit all, let them all join us. HODs must join us. MECs must join us to go and sit with the people and listen to them, their frustrations. One needs to be, and when we give solutions, it's solutions which come from them, not in a nice, good offices. But I think that was an experience which I can tell you has worked. And typical Northern Cape people, when you go into social center there, and you come even on a Friday, they have taken a bit of thoughts. They then scream that Premier, and say, calm down. So vet gaat ek praat met jou. Now, listen to that. You must be cool and show. The people are all laughing. Show the people, he is happy today. We speak like that. Even my mother, when she's happy, she actually calls me a number of names. Don't worry about that. The people laughs that because you are not going to get angry. It's because you live with the people. You understand them. After taking those nice hot drinks, they can be themselves and show them that you do. People who live with him in the night are going to tell him when he saw what wrong he did. And tomorrow he wants to come in, which is a good thing. So we really appreciate that type of thing because it has been what we believe, those themes which we grew up with. We owe it to the people. let's make sure these people, their dignity is back. Let's ensure that these black people who are being so treated, let's push the women and show them they can make it and take positions. When I look back after my 10 years, I look at the high profile women who have taken positions, not only in government, in the private sector, and all men of society. And even the priests who told them, why do you say a woman cannot preach? The churches had to change. And for me, it's the very important thing. We fought for a very important thing, one of those things. This thing, we collect people from us. Our children, when they finish matric, they leave the province. They don't come back. They don't come back. That's why we started in the Premier's office, a Premier's Bursary Fund. Because most of these children from the rural areas, you can meet 10 children who will tell you that they got that bursary from that time. And we sponsored more than thousands of children from all over Northern Cape. But with one province, you come back to the province. That's how I had to initiate with Madiba, with Thabo Mbeki, with Kadas, a university. We'll never build this province without an institution of higher learning. It will never be, because it will rely to import people. And our people are getting angry. They can't get these jobs. Today, I'm proud that we did arrive. And there, we had to change the economy of this province. It too reliant on two important pillars. It was a pillar of mining, which I mobilized the workers on. It was a pillar of agriculture. These two are the predominant where the people were working and so on. Today, you can say the mining has gone down. The biggest employer is government in the Northern Cape, provincial, district, and local government. Majority of the mines were retrenching. And we had to engage them to say, what is it you want from us? And till today, the struggle is on. We could manage to change the perspective to say, get the conditions to change in those areas. Better, decent wages, openness in terms of negotiations of all that. But more than that, can you beneficiate? Will not stop, the struggle cannot stop, even if I'm here today. Struggle to beneficiate our minerals is a matter of must. Agriculture has moved a bit in that processing of a number of those grapes. You can see, you can get jam out of them. It's made here, and so it doesn't have to leave. But most of our minerals are still leaving this province without creating, and that's the next struggle. But if you've got a university, I spoke to, that's how we donated the big building to the university to say, you start training people in top agriculturists, top mining engineers, and all sorts of things, because we want them to start the beneficiation leg of our minerals and all what we produce. There were real stumbling blocks. I'll start firstly. Age was not allowing me to speak to everybody the way I like. It was a ambakashe. And so there are older people who was in the ANC. I had people who are older than my mother who sit with me in the executive. At times when they are wrong, they don't want to be told they are wrong. They want a certain approach. So you can't try to make it nice. A wrong is a wrong, a right is a right, from the Catholic training. There were a number of those within, and we could manage that. We'll go throughout the night and talk about it and convince one another. We managed that. We united the team very well. The issue was going out. We got COSATU to be part of us. We got a party and Sanko see the vision, support us. Stably Block came on transformation. If you enter the terrain in education, you are not going to be easily going through. If you enter the employment areas, companies were not prepared to change the way they are doing things, and so on. Affirmative action, where do you get this one right? Ooh, and so on. It was a difficult issue, and I can tell you, we had to always to say, we will not rest until it's done. We will not rest until we transform. this whole type. The good thing about us is that it was a new province, so we could still infuse it with new people thinking differently. And so the old stuff which we had to get from the municipalities were there to sabotage. As I told you, from Western Cape, they sent here, and their work was to sabotage. And we had to sit on that. Had the police, had to go to them, sit with them. This is a new way on. Scop and Donner, as they took me to Transvaal around 6th floor and had me with all and show me down that I'm dying. That's how they were doing things. And those who had beaten me are still there. I had to call them. I'm not here for revenge. You are going to change your approach to our people. I had to go through the courts. Courts are still seeing they can throw our people in without a white person coming in his right, a black person, and they had to change the judiciary. That's now you see the judiciary. It was a struggle. But as I say, these were stumbling blocks which we did not see as stumbling. We saw them as challenges. Go in and do it. And today I look back, I said, that's it. We got it right. We are in charge. I had to reflect. And this happened when we were with Madiba in, as you know, that I had to run the national elections. I was the manager from 2003 to 2003. And they took me, I was still the premier, but I had to run it nationally because I had confidence that I can change. I had to impact what I did in the Northern Cape to the other provinces. I'm where I am, and as I was doing that, Thabo also appointed me as I was leaving now the office. I had to continue to run the election office because there's a time when the president appointed me to deal with the nuclear because it's a geopolitical type of issue. Nuclear is not about an engineer. It's really, you understand the world. There are Russians who want it, nuclear south. There's the Americans who want it, Chinese want it. And we had to decide. That time, Chinese are the partners to go. We hear you what you say, chaps, but if we can get to model with the Chinese, that's how I became the leader of the Chinese Friendship Association, to try to promote their successes, how best we can learn from them. That's how I proceeded to do all that work. And I also became the chairman of the Cuba Association throughout. That's how I could take Pomaruping them to that side. They went to Cuba because I was coordinating the whole of South Africa to learn difficult situations, but those people have progressed. The message is very clear. Fortunately, as you say, I've worked with Sarah. When I left here, I had to stay with him in his house for a few days before I got my place in Johannesburg. So we've worked for a long time together. Till today, we still work. I go call and I come. We solve problems. Looking at all the political parties, everybody, Mafiki Zola, they are all running around and so on, say that they can do this and that. I told you now, having listened to me, how difficult it was to build a province. It took me 10 years to get the comfort that I understand what I'm doing. I say to you, we still have a better president. When I look at all those people, leaders of the parties, I don't think they come next to him. He's far ahead of all of them, and I think we need to give him the support and the space to go through, but also believing that there's unfinished business. Northern Cape, when you see the institution of higher learning, the University of South Africa is going up. Lots of children are coming in from the rural, even other provinces are coming in. We're getting there. And that will be based on supporting the economy of the province, because you can only get better type of people, competent people from that university. That's why I say that the Premier of the Northern Cape is on it. He now says, we have created legislature, we have created government. The real issue, which is looking us in the eye, is unemployment. Unemployment, the economy, the growth is the way to go. He says, beneficiation which we've been talking about from my era. We got a number of things which we wanted, even including universal beneficiary is still not there. He's happy. That message, just like Botswana was talking, it is all mining, but all now cut and polishing of diamonds is taking place there, all processing is taking. We need to have the guts and the laws to be able to say, no manganese, no iron ore, no one will leave without being beneficiated, because that you create multiple jobs of high value. So I believe the only thing we were disturbed, and Cyril as a president was disturbed by COVID. He had the family meetings with all of us. We enjoyed to see him every day. But now is the time, just like Zamanis, to look into that aspect of job creation. This is the time now of ensuring that the economy can grow and be able to pick up the jobs. I still think, with that combination of Cyril, with that combination with having Zamane Solie, we can achieve that goal. All other groupings, Mafiki Zolos, don't understand what you are talking about. And I believe that we can only go for success after this. I ask the people not to be fooled, because we're fooled before. People who go and follow jackals which are wearing duvets today are dangerous, which you should not be looking at. I do understand there were disappointments. We did, and I'll be the first one, not knowing anything what to do. We had to make mistakes, but it takes time. We actually realized, we made a mistake. We corrected it. That's good. And I still say, we have identified service delivery as an issue. It can be corrected. Go back to Premier Cabinet needs the people. We can get the very high-skilled engineers to come back and get things done in those local municipalities and district council. We can get it done, because the reality is that the water of Kimberley, when you look at it, the infrastructure was not built. Lots of people came in because of the urbanization, but the infrastructure could not cope. That's why it's called collapsing. If we've identified the problem, let's go back to it and correct all that sanitation, water things, electricity thing, and be able to cope with the growth of the urban areas. Not a problem in the rural areas. It's because of the pressure of the infrastructure which built it in this area. But thank you very much. I wish everybody well, and let this election be a belief that Cyril can be the president and Zamane Sol can still lead the province, and we think we can do it. Thank you very much.